So hello and welcome back. So as you can see, we've got two questions here. Determine the coordinates of the center and the length of the radius of this circle with equation x squared plus y squared minus 8x plus 6y is equal to 43. And then they want us to find the equation of the tangent to the circle in A at a specific point. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a short revision lesson about this part and what exactly this equation looks like and how to convert from this form to the standard form. Now, first things to note is when you see an equation of a circle like this, you might think it is not particularly familiar. And so this here is actually called the general form, right? This is called the general form or general equation of a circle. Okay, so let's just clear all of that and let's get back to this. So I'm going to give you an intro and then I'm going to break the video up into answering A and then answering B. So before we start, let's define what a circle is. Right. I'm going to say a circle is really a relation, or we can even call it a graph, right? In which every point right, on the graph or on the relation is equidistant. Let's just fix that S. Equidistant from a given point. Now let's just think about that for a little bit. Okay, let's think about that. That is telling me a circle is really a graph which looks something like that. There's a circle, right? And each of these points over there, over there, over there, over there, each of them, they are at a specific distance from a given point. And can you guess what is the given point? Right? The given point is the radius. Very good. The given point is the radius. So let's say that's the center. It looks a little bit like the center. That's the center. From the center to that given point, right, or to any point on there, we can say that each of these lines are equal. Okay, so if I were to call each of these lengths a different thing, and I said this length, call this length A, and call this length B, and call this length C, if this is a circle, then length A is equal to length B, which is equal to length C, right? That length over there is the same as that length over there, which is the same length over there. Now, what does this mean for us? This means that's specifically the definition of a circle. If I tell you that a circle is a graph on which every point on the graph is equidistant, is the same distance from a given point, right? And now, there's two things about that. This distance, we call this distance the radius. This distance is called the radius. And this given point that we speak about is that point over there. It's that point over there. So that point is actually the center. So I'm going to put it in brackets there. That's actually the center. So this teaches us a very important lesson. In order to get a circle or to define a circle, we need to have two things. We need to have the circle's radius and we need to have the circle's center, right? Okay, we must have the circle's radius and we must also have the circle's center. And from that, I can then construct a circle. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to say, well, okay, I've got a line. Let's set up a coordinate system of axes there. There we go. There we go. I'm just going to do arrows on that side. The arrows as such, these indicate the positive directions of each of the axes. Let's make that a little blue X and a blue Y. Okay, and now let's draw a circle. And I'm going to show you what we will title as the standard form of a circle. Oops. Make that an ellipse. Right. Let's move it slightly lower. Right, round about there. Now, let's assume that I'm going to define the circle to have center over here, right? And Okay, let's move it slightly lower. Let's keep the ellipse going. Let's leave it red. And I'm going to move it over there. There we go. Right. Okay, so there I've got my circle. And now I'm going to define the center of the circle in a black pen, which is somewhere, let's say it's here. Let's say the center of that circle is there. Right. Now, if you want to read this, let's assume that's at -2, and this is at -1, right? So what will the equation of the circle be? Now, I'm going to say for, and this is a particular note you must take down, for a circle with center A and B, the general form, right, or the not general form, the standard form, or the standard equation of a circle looks like this. It is going to be x minus a squared plus y minus b squared is equal to r squared. For a circle with center AB and radius r, okay, that's the center over there, and that's the radius. Then you get this equation. Now, given this, if you see what we've got over here, the only thing you really need to do is say, well, okay, that center, that dot has got coordinates, right? If you read it off from there, the center for this particular circle has got coordinates. Let's call it C. Let's call that point C, right? Or M, or whatever you want to call the center of the circle. It's got -2 on the X and -1 on the Y. Right. So if we look at that, let's find the standard. I keep forgetting that this is called the standard form of a circle. Let's find the standard form of the circle. Well, it's going to be x minus -2. So if that's the minus here is part of the formula, or part of the standard form of the circle, and this -2 is part of the coordinate, right? Squared plus y minus -1 squared is equal to r squared. So I'm going to tell you, let's say it's 1, that's 2, that's √3. Let's go a little bit further. Let's assume that the radius here, for argument's sake, is going to be, the radius is going to be 5 units. Okay, I've drawn 2 radii, and of course each of them has got the same distance, because that's what we mentioned in the previous slide, 5 and 5, right? So is equal to r squared. Now if the radius is 5, r squared is going to be 5 squared. So what I have to put over there is actually 5 squared, right? 5 squared. And if I want to simplify this, that's going to be x plus 2. So you'll notice if the center is -2 for the x value, it will be +2 in the equation, right? In the standard form equation. Plus y plus 1 squared is equal to 25. Okay, so there we go. And that's how I find the standard form of a circle. Standard form of a circle. If, of course, I'm given the radius and I'm given the center. Standard form of circle, given radius, given the center.